Have you ever felt like people read you too easily? Like every move you make gives away your next one, while others seem always one step ahead? The truth is, power isn't about talking louder, acting tougher, or fighting harder. It's about seeing what others don't, and moving before they even know a move exists. Today, I'll show you 7 psychological tricks that will keep you 3 steps ahead of everyone, without ever raising your voice. Welcome to the silent power game. In this world, people chase control through noise, emotion, and status. But the true tacticians, the ones who quietly pull the strings, they operate in silence. These aren't ordinary mind hacks. What you're about to learn are strategies once whispered in the courts of power, the kind Machiavelli himself would approve of. Let us begin. 1. The art of silence. Silence hit unnerves people more than words ever can. When you speak, you reveal your thoughts, your emotions, your strategy. But when you stay silent, you force others into a state of uncertainty. They start to fill the silence with their own fears, assumptions, and confessions. That's when the real information comes to you, without you ever asking for it. Most people can't stand silence. They rush to fill it because it makes them feel exposed. They think silence is emptiness, but in truth silence is dominance. Every pause, every measured breath becomes a test, and most people fail that test without even realizing it. In conversation, say less. Let the other person reveal themselves. Ask a question, then stop. Don't nod. Don't rush. Just watch. They'll start explaining more than they should. Overcompensating for your quietness, trying to win your approval, trying to read your mind. And that's where you gain the upper hand. When someone asks for your opinion, pause before you speak. That pause is power. It gives weight to your words and makes others hang on every syllable. When you finally decide to talk, they'll start valuing your silence as much as your speech, because they know when you speak, it matters. Silence also disarms aggression. When someone expects you to argue, don't. Let them burn their energy. Let them project their insecurities into the void. The moment you stop reacting, you remove their control over your emotions. They lose their weapon. You keep your composure. Every great strategist knows this. People reveal themselves in noise, but they lose control in quiet. The one who masters silence doesn't just listen. They command attention without saying a word. Silence is not weakness. It's psychological gravity. It pulls truth toward you. It makes others orbit around your calm too. Strategic observation. Watch closely, because people are always revealing themselves, even when their lips are sealed. Every movement, every hesitation, every glance away from the truth is a clue waiting to be read. The mistake most people make is that they listen to words and ignore behavior. But words are rehearsed. Behavior never lies. Strategic observation isn't about staring, it's about studying. It's the quiet act of collecting patterns that others are too distracted to notice. The way someone greets you, how quickly they check their phone, the tone they use when they're interrupted. All of it tells a story. When you start observing instead of reacting, you stop living in confusion and start living in control. People are creatures of repetition. They respond to pressure in predictable ways. Some retreat, some over-explain, some shift blame. Once you've seen it once, you'll see it again. That's how you learn who will stand by you and who will fold under tension. It's not magic. It's observation sharpened into a weapon. Try this in conversation. Say something slightly unexpected and then go silent. Don't focus on what they say. Focus on how they say it. Does their tone rise? Do their eyes dart? Does their breathing shift? That's where the truth hides. Emotions are faster than reason. The body reacts before the mind can lie. You'll begin to notice micro signals. The small flicker of discomfort when someone's lying. The forced smile that doesn't reach their eyes. The sudden pause before they answer. These are breadcrumbs of intent. And when you gather enough of them, you start predicting behavior before it happens. The goal isn't to judge, it's to understand. Observation turns people into open books while you remain unread. You stop being surprised by betrayal, by weakness, by manipulation. Because you already saw the signs long before anyone else did. 3. Controlled emotion. Power isn't taken by strength. It's maintained through control. And the first battlefield you must conquer is inside your own mind. The moment you let anger, jealousy, or fear dictate your actions, you hand your power over to someone else. People who can trigger your emotions can predict your behavior, and once they can predict you, they can control you. Controlled emotion is not suppression. It's strategy. It's the discipline of mastering your reactions so that nothing can shake your position. When someone tries to provoke you, they're not looking for your response. They're searching for your weakness. They want to know where your buttons are. What breaks your calm? What makes you lose composure? The wise player never gives them that satisfaction. Imagine being insulted and simply smiling. Not out of arrogance, but out of indifference. The silence that follows is louder than any argument. Your calm becomes unsettling because it denies them emotional victory. Most people can't stand someone they can't rattle. It makes them feel powerless. And that's exactly where you want them. The key is to observe your emotions like an outsider. Notice the rise of anger, the sting of ego, the heat of impatience, and then choose not to act on it. Emotion wants reaction, power demands restraint. In a heated moment, the calm voice always sounds like authority. The one who keeps steady when others panic becomes the anchor. Everyone looks to for direction. Remember, emotional control isn't about coldness, it's about clarity. When your emotions no longer rule you, you start seeing patterns others miss. You can read intentions, sense manipulation, and decide your next move with precision. In a world driven by impulses, the person who stays calm commands every storm. For calculated praise, people crave recognition more than truth. It's one of the deepest human desires, to be seen, acknowledged, and validated. But here's what most never realize: praise is not just kindness. It's influence disguised as admiration. When used strategically, praise becomes one of the most powerful psychological tools in existence. The difference lies in intent. Ordinary praise flatters. Calculated praise directs. When you compliment someone, you plant a seed in their mind. If you say, "You always make calm, logical decisions," they will unconsciously begin acting in ways that prove you right. They'll live up to the version of themselves you described, not because you demanded it, but because you made them believe it was already true. This is how you guide behavior without confrontation, without conflict, without force. Most people give compliments to be liked, but a strategist gives compliments to create motion. Every word of praise becomes a quiet command, shaping how the other person sees themselves and how they behave around you. It's subtle manipulation, not through lies, but through belief. Because once someone believes your view of them, they'll work to maintain it. Praise is most effective when it's rare and precise. If you constantly compliment, your words lose value. But if you do it sparingly, with intention, it becomes gold. People start waiting for your approval, measuring their worth through your silence and your speech. You become the invisible standard they seek validation from. Even leaders, even the most confident people, crave acknowledgement. They want to feel understood. The moment you give them that feeling, they open the gates of trust. And once they trust you, influence becomes effortless. Calculated praise doesn't shout, it whispers directly to the ego, making people move exactly as you need them to. 5. Information asymmetry. Power is never equal. It's built on what one side knows that the other does not. The person who controls information controls perception. And in a world obsessed with talking, posting, and revealing everything, the true strategist wins by doing the opposite. Information asymmetry means you always know more than you reveal, and reveal less than they expect. The less others know about your intentions, the more they'll speculate, and speculation breeds caution. When people can't read you, they can't prepare for you. They start second, guessing, adjusting their moves, creating imaginary versions of your strategy, and every false assumption they make becomes an advantage for you. Silence and curiosity are your allies here. Ask questions, listen carefully, and let others speak freely. People love to talk about themselves, it's their favorite topic. And in their words, they expose their plans, weaknesses, and motivations, all while believing they're in control of the conversation. When it's your turn to speak, give fragments, small truths that seem complete. Let others think they've uncovered something meaningful when, in reality, you've only given them what you wanted them to know. This creates an illusion of transparency that makes people lower their guard. They'll feel comfortable around you, unaware that you're mapping every detail they offer. Never underestimate the value of mystery. Once people believe they fully understand you, they stop fearing you. But if you remain partially hidden, they'll tread carefully, unsure of your reach or intent. That uncertainty becomes your shield. It protects your real strategy and keeps your enemies chasing shadows. Information is power, but secrecy is its armor. In every interaction, the goal isn't just to gain knowledge. It's to ensure that the flow of information always tilts in your favor. 6. The illusion of choice. People believe they are free because they are given options, but true control lies in designing the choices themselves. The illusion of choice is one of the oldest and most refined tools of influence. The art of making others feel in control while they walk precisely where you want them to go. It's not deception, it's direction masked as freedom. When people think the decision is theirs, they defend it, they justify it, and they protect it as if it were their own creation. That's the beauty of psychological control. It feels voluntary. The secret is in how you frame the question. Instead of asking, "Do you want to do this?" you ask, "Would you prefer to do it today or tomorrow?" Either answer serves your goal, yet the other person feels empowered. Their ego is satisfied because they believe they made the choice. You've removed resistance without confrontation. Power is not always about force. It's about creating the path so subtly that people follow it willingly. This technique extends beyond conversation. It shapes negotiation, leadership, even persuasion in relationships. When you offer 2 or 3 options that all lead to your desired outcome, you give the illusion of control while silently maintaining dominance. The more confident the other person feels about their freedom, the less likely they are to notice your hand guiding the direction. The masters of influence use this everywhere. In politics, business, even daily interactions. They understand that most people don't want to think deeply about decisions. They want comfort in the illusion of autonomy. By offering that comfort, you gain quiet authority. You become the architect of outcomes, the unseen force behind every conclusion. And as others celebrate their so-called independence, you already know their every move was part of your design. 7. The shadow of predictability. People trust what they can predict, but they fear what they can't. The balance between those two forces is where silent power lives. If you are too predictable, you become readable, safe, even forgettable. But if you are entirely unpredictable, you become unstable, someone others can't rely on. The true strategist walks the razor's edge between consistency and mystery, revealing just enough pattern to be trusted and just enough unpredictability to be respected. Predictability builds comfort. It makes others relax around you, drop their guard, and confide in you. It's the mask of reliability, showing up on time, keeping your word, maintaining calm in chaos. These actions make people believe they understand your nature. They stop questioning your motives because you appear steady. Yet beneath that calm exterior, unpredictability waits like a shadow, subtle, calculated, deliberate. You never show your full range. You let them think they've mapped you, and then, when the moment demands it, you act in a way no one saw coming. That's when power shifts. Controlled unpredictability is a psychological weapon. When others can't fully read your next move, they hesitate. They approach you with caution because uncertainty is uncomfortable. It forces them to adjust, to accommodate you, to treat you as a variable they can't control. And in every power dynamic, the one who creates uncertainty dictates the pace of the game. The goal is not to be erratic, but to be unreadable by design. You build a pattern of reliability, but you sprinkle it with just enough surprise to keep everyone slightly off balance. You might change your tone, your timing, or your strategy without warning. Not to confuse, but to remind them that your calm does not equal simplicity. It's in that duality, predictable enough to be trusted, unpredictable enough to be feared, that silent power finds its sharpest edge. Power isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention, it earns it. The greatest advantage you can ever hold over others is the ability to move unseen, to guide, to read, to anticipate, and to act without revealing your hand. Every one of these principles, silence, observation, control, praise, secrecy, illusion, and unpredictability, forms a thread in a larger design. Together, they create the fabric of influence that separates those who react from those who rule. The world moves fast, and most people chase visibility. They want to be noticed, validated, remembered. But the true player in the silent power game knows that influence doesn't come from being seen. It comes from being felt. It's the calm voice in a room of noise, the still presence that changes the energy without a word, the mind that thinks 3 steps ahead while everyone else is still deciding their first move. You don't need to dominate to win. You don't need to speak to command. You only need to understand the invisible forces that shape behavior and learn to control them quietly. When you master that, you no longer chase opportunities, people, or approval. They begin to orbit around you, drawn by something they can't fully name. That is silent power. Influence without noise, control without confrontation, presence without performance. The world will always belong to those who can see beyond emotion, beyond impulse, beyond the surface of things. Stay quiet. Stay calculating. Stay 3 steps ahead. Because the strongest force in any room is not the one making the most noise. It's the one watching, waiting, and smiling, already knowing how the game will end.